just like to document that I think it's who's the killer, and I will do an actual update in a minute, but I just wanted to get that out there. I really think it's because they said that they think he was killed by and the way answered the questions makes me also think that. So that's who I'm putting my chips on. I was right. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and tonight on Murder, She Wrote. Before we get into Murder, She Wrote, I have not done a very good job of documenting the past week. The week leading up to Easter was just crazy busy, and then Easter was just a very strange one. And so today is Monday the 22nd, and I am just now rekindling these videos, so apologies for that. But about a minute ago, I finished Coffee, Tea, or Murder by, who is this even by? Oh, by Jessica Fletcher and Donald Bain. Basically, there's this new flight business called Silver Air, and it's like a little bit of a fancier plane, so it seats less people. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's an all-around better trip and better experience. And it was their like promotional flight, and they were going from Boston to London, and then they do some stuff in London and then back to Boston. But once they're in London, the owner of the plane, well, one of the like co-owners of the plane, is murdered. And so they're spent trying to figure out who killed him. I can't quite say I enjoyed it. It was strange because there were a lot of times where it did have the same tone that the TV show does, but I think since I watch the TV shows so much, and like I know that Jessica Fletcher, and even though this Jessica Fletcher wasn't that different from that one, being in her head was strange, and there'd be some points I'd be like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's like when you read a book and you know a book so well and you love a book so much, and then you turn around and you watch like the movie or the TV show and it's just not the same. It was kind of like that, but backwards, because TV show to book. I can't say that I loved it. I did a lot of skim reading. It was very, very descriptive, which, I mean, it's a mystery book, so it should be, but in ways that weren't quite important, like just like describing the London streets, but in really great detail. And then that combined with like all of my other apprehensions about it just kind of got to the point where I'd skim read a couple of parts. So I feel like I'm probably gonna give it a 3-ish stars because I did enjoy it. I just didn't absolutely love it. It just kind of took me a long time to read, and there'd be a lot of times where I wouldn't really want to pick it up because I just wasn't loving it. But I didn't hate it, but I just wasn't loving it. So honestly, I probably won't read any more Murder, She Wrote books because it's just a bit strange to see Jessica in this format. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Next, I'm going to start Killer Run, a tourist trap mystery by Lynn, the last name is covered. Cahoon. Killer Run by Lynn Cahoon. This will be for my pun in the title because I'm not quite sure what happens in this book, but I do know there's a murder, there's the killer part, and then there's a marathon, there's the run. So Killer Run is a pun. So that's the one I'm going to read next. I have it on my Kindle and my Kindle app, and I'll start reading that soon. But I had a project that I turned in this morning. I have a test tomorrow and I have a test on Wednesday. So I don't know how much will get done before Wednesday, but honestly maybe a whole lot will get done because I'll be procrastinating a lot. That might happen. We're gonna hope that it doesn't because it really can't. And after Killer Run, I'm going to read an Agatha Christie. I need to get one done this month, at least one. I want to read The Body in the Library. It's gonna happen, okay? It's going to happen. Also, if I can manage to get Killer Run read and A Body in the Library and one of my other Agatha Christie books, then I will have completed all of my challenges, I think. I'm pretty sure. So that's ideal. Looking at my calendar, I don't know if that'll happen, but that's ideal. I just discovered that Killer Run is the 5th book in the Tourist Trap series. So this is just some kind of really annoying trend that I end up picking the like 3rd book in a series or the 5th book in a series. And so again, I'm just preparing myself to be very, very confused. I wasn't in the last one, so hopefully that's the same case. Recap of what has been going on in my life. I had a project due yesterday. I have a test this evening, which I should have turned their shoot, which I am very concerned about. I do have a decent grade in the class, so I know I should at least do okay, but I'm not prepared for this test at all. So that worries me, and this test is also like kind of the final, so that also worries me. And then I have another test tomorrow that I'm not prepared for in the slightest, so that's fun. So I'm currently going to go study. I've done some laundry and made lunch. I've been procrastinating studying for the test, so I've been doing like housework and stuff. And I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and study, and then I'm gonna go home and eat lunch, and then I'm gonna go back to a coffee shop, maybe the same one, maybe a different one, and study some more. This person has a bear on there. Oh my gosh, is that a New Mexico bear? It's a sticker of a bear that says Red River and it has the New Mexico sign. That's like 3 of my favorite things. I want that sticker. Anyway, I haven't started Killer Run at all yet, but I wanted to come on here to mention that I've finally caught up on all my Goodreads reviews. If you recall from my 2017 wrap-up thing, one of my goals was to do a review of every book I read, and I don't do like in-depth reviews at all, just like a couple of sentences like, here's what I thought, here's the general idea, recommend, don't recommend, that kind of thing. And I was very behind in them because of school and stuff, and I am finally caught up again. I did that this morning instead of studying, but I'm finally caught up. So if you want to go read them, check out my Goodreads. I technically do more in-depth reviews on here, so this is like the best place to get my thoughts on books, but you can see more of what I'm like currently reading if you follow me on Goodreads. So shameless plug, go do that. I'm finally caught up on all my reviews, and hopefully after the test I'm gonna start a little bit of Killer Run before I study more for, shoot, I need to go this way. So yeah, you should turn. Thank you. Okay, where are you going? Yeah, you can go. Okay, cool. Okay, we're good now. Anyway, driving is wild here. Okay, so I am going to study, and then I will hopefully be able to read some of Killer Run tonight after I take a test and before I study for tomorrow's test. So, we'll let you know. There was a storm last night, and a tornado warning, and a lightning warning, and a flood advisory, and just a severe storm warning. So that was interesting. I heard the loudest clap of thunder I have ever heard in my life. But I have read 7 chapters, or have read up to chapter 7 of Killer Run. I've highlighted a couple things that I want to discuss. The main character's name is Jill, and she's dating the head detective in South Cove, which is their town, and they met when someone got murdered. I won't say who because that's a spoiler for one of the first 4 books, but it says when he'd started investigating her death, we started spending time. So my camera ran out of storage, so we'll finish this here. But it says wanted to spend time together. I think he just wanted to keep his prime suspect close. He tells a different story, which I think is a very interesting way to meet. And then it says, and we rarely if ever fought unless he thought I was messing with one of his investigations. So I'm hoping this will give her kind of an in, but I'm worried about the whole I'm dating the detective who's working on this case is gonna work. And the last thing that you need to know as of the moment is that she has a Jeep. I love Jeeps, so that makes me very happy and excited. So far I'm really liking it. I like the tone of it a lot. I'm liking all the characters a lot. They all seem to have very unique personalities so far. I am only up to chapter 7, but the murder has happened, and I'm really liking the town because each character is just like this really interesting hodgepodge of a person, and I like that a lot. Today is Friday. I am 55% done with Killer Run, and I am really enjoying it. I don't know what it is about it, but I guess I just really like the characters, and the story's going really naturally for a murder mystery, which is a weird thing to say, but I feel like it's the best way I can describe what's happening in it, and so I'm really liking that. One thing I will say though, this is, I believe I mentioned the 5th book in the series, and you can kind of tell that because every now and then there's just like a reference to someone being in jail or some other event happening, and you're like, that, what are you talking about? But that's because you haven't read the first 4 books. So with the Hannah Swenson series, it didn't really have any effect to me reading the 3rd book in the series first, because they kind of referenced her finding dead bodies a lot, but they didn't like discuss what happened in the other books, at least that I remember happening. But in this book there's a little bit more of like, oh, it's not like that time I did blah blah blah, and I'm like, well shoot, I've just been spoiled. Which I'll probably forget before I ever get to the other books in the series, so it will work out. But just for reference, you will be spoiled a little bit in this book if you read it before you've read the first 4 in the series. That being said though, I'm really enjoying it. It's got kind of a slow pace to it, but I'm finding that I like that, and that's not like slowing down me wanting to read it. Like I feel like I'm reading this one fairly fast in comparison to all of the other books I have read so far this month, and that's because I'm just like so excited to pick this one up because I'm just really enjoying this story. I love the characters so much. I just find it so interesting. It's set in a small town and I kind of like that aspect of it. Another thing that I'm liking about it is they have, so like the main murder mystery that's happening, but then there's kind of side vandalism thing that's going on, and then there's kind of side rumors about expanding businesses that are going on. And so you've got like a couple of different things happening, but the way they're happening, you can keep up with all of them. Like, it's not confusing at all as to which one we're talking about, as to what's happening. Like, everything's easy to follow. And I like that a lot because I guess it's done in a way that you are invested, but it's not done in a way where like the author is purposefully muddling it up to try and keep you in the dark. You're getting all the facts the same way that Jill is getting all the facts, and it's in a way that is like, okay, here's what's happening. Why is it happening? Let's figure this out. And so I'm really liking that because it just seems, I don't know, authentic and natural, I guess. I just really like the way this book is written, I guess. It's, I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I have a class today and then I'm gonna go home this weekend. We'll have some school to do because obviously tests are coming up. I only have one more test before my finals. So that's something we have to get through, but I've kind of done a whole lot of school throughout the week, so I shouldn't have too much over the weekend, which will be super nice. I do have 2 things due, well, it's not until Tuesday. I think I should have a pretty relaxing weekend. So I am going home for like an event, so in that sense, I don't know how much reading I'll get done, but if I do push off school a little bit right now, it's a little bit okay because I think I'm a little bit ahead. We're knocking on wood. I'm also really glad this book is going so fast for me because technically I still need to read 2 more books if I want to complete all of my challenges. I need to read Agatha Christie Miss Marple book, which will be this one, and then I need to read an Agatha Christie Hercule Poirot, I believe. Hang on. I look this up every time and I butcher it every time. Hercule Poirot book. So still don't know which one of those I'm gonna read, but hopefully I also get to one of those in this challenge. And then let me double check my challenges, but I think that'll put me at having all of them. Right, read a Murder, She Wrote book, check. Read an Agatha Christie Miss Marple, no. Read an Agatha Christie Hercule Poirot, no. Read a Henry Press book, yes. Read a book with a pun in the title, yes. Currently. Read a food related book, yes. And read a favorite childhood mystery, yes. So I just need to read Agatha Christie basically in order to finish my challenges. So 55% done with this. Hopefully I'll finish this tonight, early tomorrow. I'm gonna bring this book with me. But yeah, I'm going to do a little school and then I'm going to read some and then I'm gonna meet a friend for coffee and then I'm gonna go to class and then I'm gonna pick up my friend who I'm taking home with me and then we're gonna drive home. So I just got back from seeing Captain Marvel. It was fantastic. I feel so powerful right now. And I am terrified for Endgame. I'm seeing that on Tuesday. I know I'm very late. It worked out that way. That's just how it happened. So now I'm going to make some low FODMAP snickerdoodle cookies because in one of my classes we're having a potluck and one of my friends just had to go on this low FODMAP diet and so she won't really be able to eat anything. So I'm going to attempt to make some cookies. I just got all the stuff. I'm gonna go do that real quick. I did finish Killer Run and I'm gonna talk about it later. I want to get the cookies done because it's kind of getting late and I'm yawning a whole lot. But just know for now, loved it. Thought it was great. And I'll talk about it more in like 0.2 seconds for you, but maybe tomorrow morning for me. Who knows? I fell into that trap where you think, oh, it's close to the end of the semester, but I have like a little bit of a break. I didn't really have a little bit of a break, and now I have a test on Wednesday that I'm not prepared for. Like, it should go fine still, but not prepared for it, so that's a bit jarring. That being said, I'm gonna be spending today, which is Monday, and Tuesday doing a lot of studying, so I do not anticipate being able to finish all of my challenges. I do want to at least finish The Body in the Library on Tuesday, which is the last day in April, because I just want to be able to have said that I finished this and then however many books that makes for April, but I won't be able to get to Third Girl before the end of the month. I still want to read it next, so I think what might happen is I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog on Tuesday as planned so that I can get it up on Thursday. But I might go ahead and do like a mini reading vlog of me like finishing off the books I didn't finish. I'll come up with something catchy hopefully, and then that will be next week's video because I do want to go ahead and read Third Girl. It's just like it's next in line in my mind. That being said, I am loving The Body in the Library so far. I can't quite explain what Agatha Christie is doing with this book so far, but it is phenomenal. Just the opening chapter had me hooked, just with the way she wrote it and the way she's kind of made this community scene. I am in love. So this will kind of give you a little idea as to what I'm trying to articulate when I'm saying I just love the community that this book is creating, because it's making the town very interesting to the story. And oh my gosh, he's so loud. Hang on. I love the busybodies. Bears down here. This is a Mrs. Weatherby and a Miss Hartnell. Miss Weatherby is dropping in on Miss Hartnell and she says, "Forgive me for coming so early, dear, but I thought perhaps you mightn't have heard the news." "What news?" demanded Miss Hartnell. She had a deep bass voice and visited the poor indefatigably. I'm not good at pronouncing that word. However hard they tried to avoid her ministries. "About the body in Colonel Bantry's library." "A woman's body in Colonel Bantry's library?" "Yes. Isn't it terrible? His poor wife." Miss Hartnell tried to disguise her deep and ardent pleasure. And what you can't see is that a woman's body. Woman's is in italics. Hey, get out of my drink. Library is in italics. Terrible is in italics. Poor is in italics. You stop it. It just cracks me up. And so just the way she's writing the dialogue and the way she's structuring and pacing what's happening is phenomenal. Loving it so far. She also mentions herself in the book, which I thought was pretty interesting. So basically, a murder happened. There's a body in the library. It's of a young woman, and nobody in the house has ever seen her before. Nobody in the town has ever seen her before, so everyone is very confused as to what has happened. As am I. And they're kind of questioning this one family, but there's this little boy that comes up and he's very excited talking to the inspectors, and he's going off asking a bunch of questions, and his last one is, "You don't mind me speaking to you, do you?" And the colonel who's doing the investigation says, "That's all right, my son. Naturally interests you, I expect." And the boy says, "You bet it does. Do you like detective stories? I do. I read them all. And I've got autographs from Dorothy Sayers and Agatha Christie and Dixon Carr and H.C. Bailey. Will the murder be in the papers?" She put herself as a mystery author in a book she wrote about a mystery. I just think that's really fun. So yeah, that's about where I am. I'm still clueless as to who murdered the girl, but loving it. Just the atmosphere she's creating. It has a very comedic and natural tone to it. I think it's great so far. Highly enjoying it. I haven't finished it obviously, but so far definitely recommend it. Also, I made my cookies, as you probably saw. I'll leave the recipe link down below if you want to use it. They taste like balls of sugar, so they taste great to me. I don't know if I did the dough correctly or if this is just a thing with like the vegan butter, if it's just naturally softer, but it was very sticky and they spread a lot more than the picture. So I did something weird, or maybe I didn't buy the right ingredients for them. I'm not quite sure what happened, but they still taste good. So if you are dairy free or gluten-free or on a low FODMAP diet, then I got some cookies for you down below. They're not vegan because they have eggs, but I think they're pretty good. Will I make them again? I don't know. I feel like I kind of tweaked the recipe a little bit because I want to find a way for them to not be so sugary. There's a lot of sugar in them. Don't be fooled into thinking they're healthy. They're not healthy. There's a lot of sugar in these cookies, but they taste good and they turned out pretty good. So as a whole, I'm very pleased. I just finished Endgame and I have some thoughts, and I just finished A Body in the Library and I have some thoughts, but we're gonna put those aside until tomorrow because I have a test tomorrow that I have quite obviously been neglecting studying for. So we're gonna do that. Hopefully it's not a complete flop and we can reconvene tomorrow on the first day of May. So I will see you then. Hello. So today is Wednesday, May 1st. We're going to do a recap of April, kind of, in a way. Basically, I'm just gonna like end the vlog, and then when you watch my April wrap up, that'll kind of be my recap. So just so you know that. Also, last night I saw Endgame. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I loved it, but I died the whole time. I couldn't function for quite some time after it though, and that was a problem because I had a test this morning. Speaking of this morning, if you want some developments on my life, go follow my Twitter. There's a thread that I've been updating because it's quite a ride. I've never had anything happen like this before, and I think I've been sucked into a young adult contemporary book. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, go look at my Twitter. Yeah, that aside, I finished A Body in the Library last night and it was fantastic. Agatha Christie just has a way with words. It was just gorgeously written, but also intricately done. Like the plot is so well done because you're engaged the entire time. You're getting the clues right along with the other people, and then Miss Marple's just like, you know, knowing everything about everybody, and you're just like trying to keep up, but it's done in a way that is so great. I don't know what other word to use. I like how throughout the book they kept being like, this is something that only happens in books, and we're reading a book. And I also like how Miss Marple had a village parallel for every person that she met. She'd be like, oh yeah, they're gonna do this because they are very similar to this person in the village who does this kind of thing. Everyone's just like, what? But yeah, it was fantastic. And again, I loved the characters. They're all so unique and different, and just everything about this book was fantastic. Definitely my favorite Agatha Christie so far. I've only read I think three, but definitely my favorite so far. I can't remember if I went back and discussed Killer Run at all, so I'm gonna do that a little bit right now. Basically, I loved it. I loved the characters so much. I loved the plot so much. It had a nice, like, steady, natural pace to it. It was also very engaging. I always was wanting to read it. I would not do schoolwork, so I could read it instead because I was loving it that much. And at one point towards the end, I'm not gonna tell you why they're in trouble, but they're in trouble, and this, like, policeman comes by and he's asking Jill's like, everyone else needs saving, and her aunt pops up and goes, me, please save me. And for some reason I really like that. Like, it cracked me up. But then there was more to that. I screenshot it. It's already been returned to the library, but here's what she says. I swear the woman batted her eyes at the man. He blushed and nodded. We'll be right there. Don't worry, you're safe now. I glanced over at my aunt. Do you have to flirt? She prepped her hair and faced me. Do I look okay? For a rescue? You look amazing. For a rescue by a fireman. My aunt shook her head. You are so clueless. No wonder you're not married. And then there was a cute scene with her and Greg. Also, I just want to know what it is about flip-flops that make people think they're dressy and go for a date night with a sundress. Also, another clothing critique. I feel like you can really tell the era that this book was written in because she flipped open the box and found a pair of dolphin earrings with what appeared to be diamonds in the middle, which sound cute, but here's the thing. Do you like them? He touched one of the silver earrings with a finger. I had planned on giving them to you on board, you know, for the dress-up night. Flip-flops and dolphin earrings. This makes me think of, oh my gosh, what were they called? There were some books I used to love. They were like Chrissy something. I'll find it and like insert a picture. But that was often what she'd wear to like dress up. Dolphin earrings and flip-flops with a sundress. No wonder it felt like a throwback. Oh, and if you ever want to know what I'm like around couples sometimes, I tried to give him his change, but he waved it off. Do you want sugar or sweetener? He shook his head. I've got all the sugar I need right here. He touched Sadie's face and she laughed. I fought the temptation to roll my eyes. That's me. Don't take that the wrong way, but that is me. I'm not very good at watching rom-coms because of stuff like that, which makes my Twitter all the more wild for me. So again, just go look at it. You don't even have to follow me. I don't care if you follow me. Just go read the thread. And another thing that I really liked is there's this woman who lives next door in this one neighboring town, and she says, a woman needs a man to take care of her. Like a fish needs a bicycle, Jill thought. So basically, I love Jill, and Jill is in an established relationship, and I just loved that because it had this kind of domesticity to it that, as y'all know, I really like that kind of a thing. So she would be defrosting meat for dinner, and he'd be filling up the dog food bowl for water. And it was just done in such a natural way that I really, really enjoyed. And yeah, it was just great. Everyone was just great, and the plot was just great. I really liked it. It was great. So highly recommend that book. I've already downloaded the first one from my library's ebook system, so I'll be reading that pretty soon, and I'm very excited for it because it was just fantastic. I highly recommend it if you're wanting to get into mysteries because it was great. So that was my month of April. I didn't finish Third Girl, so I technically didn't finish my challenges, but I am gonna start reading that next, so I will finish my challenges a bit later. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed seeing my life. kind of for a month, mostly just my reading life. But let me know if you want to see more of like what I do day to day instead of just the reading. I'd have to like really break up the vlogs if I did that, because that'd be a long one. But if you're into the kind of like, why am I freaking out about my Twitter kind of thing, let me know. Comment down below and let me know, of the books that I've read in this entire month, which one that you think is the most interesting. One I'd recommend the most would either be Kill or Run or A Body in the Library. They're two kind of different toned novels, so that kind of depends on what you'd be in the mood for, but those were by far my two favorites. Also comment down below and let me know if there were ever a time that you would spend a month reading a specific genre. What would that genre be and why? So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all again in another one soon.